Today we are about to practice E flat major, which already has 3 flats. By the end of this video, you will be able to locate the scale in 4 octaves, play this in parallel motion using thirds, and also I will show you some interesting arpeggio exercises. Welcome back to 24 Days Scales Challenge. To begin with, we have to understand how this scale looks like. This is our E flat major scale. We will be using E flat, A flat, and B flat. Only 3 flats. We already covered so many keys with so many more sharps or flats, so this might feel easier. This scale is actually a key which I go to when I want to warm up. I feel that this key falls beautifully under your hands and it doesn't feel too complicated. So I'm very excited to play this together with you. Let's play this scale in 2 octaves just so we get familiar to how it feels. 2 octaves. Normally, the fingering for the scales are pretty simple. You have to remember the position of these 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you are struggling to know where you have to change the finger, I use this technique. I always try to say to myself where I have to change. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then back. And I've noticed that normally the struggle is of going back. To go to the top is not that complicated, but when you go back, you always have to think about your thumb. Where do you place your thumb? On the way back, you want to name where you place your thumb. To make it easier, you can say first finger. First, 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 first. In the beginning, you can always put an accent on the thumb, so you will lock the feeling. Let's play the scale using 4 octaves, adding your right hand and also including the contrary motion. If you want to play fast, you should try to avoid sliding inside and outside from the keyboard. So very often what might happen, you will play here and then you will try to slide. You will play here and then you try to slide. So if you keep in mind that your hands are rather closed than opened, but of course relaxed at the same time, this is the difficulty of playing the piano. You want to be very, very active, but also relaxed. You will see that this really helps you to play fast. So let's try to play this scale in thirds. So to locate your third, you have to move your right finger here to the G. And if you look from your E flat to the G, you have a major third. We use a major third because we are here in E flat major. So when you play thirds, you want to listen to your left hand because it will most likely be slower than your right hand. Let's try again and focus our attention to the left hand. Most of the unevenness happened actually on the way back here. But still, if you noticed, I'm very, very close to the keyboard. When you will start practicing piano, you will want to first learn how to activate your fingers. And this will require you to lift your fingers slightly higher. So you actually give a little bit more of the power to the keyboard. But once you're more advanced, you're actually able to control this. You will want to stay very close. Now I'd like to play 6 long chords in E flat major. So the structure for 6 long chords is like this. Major, And you will notice that this feels complicated because we use white keys fingering on black keys. So we choose this fingering because we want to play 6 long chords in a row. And this is why we have to start with the same position every single chord. If you look at my hands, you will see that I'm using a simple fingering as if I would play from a white key. Now your goal in this is to avoid an accent here. Or every time you have a change. So this is major, minor. No? Aha, there. Major. Minor. Major. This will need a particular attention because most of the positions are very, very uncomfortable. But the goal is here that you actually play this harder. But then later on, if you have similar places in pieces, it will feel easier. You can always practice this using a rhythmical variation. And what this rhythmical variation does, it teaches you how to move fast from one position to another. So here, for example, in the right hand, you are training this jump. Remember, if you try this for the first time, it will feel very uncomfortable. But the good news is the more you practice, the more comfort you can achieve. So really start slowly, get familiar with the shape of these 6 long chords, and then of course increase the speed and use these rhythmical variations to get better. I've been practicing some Ravel today, and I've noticed this one pattern he uses. He really likes to start an arpeggio, say, in the left hand, and then give it over to the right hand. And I think this is an important skill to train. We can actually use this scale, E flat major, to improve this skill. So as an example, today I was practicing and there was this one spot where I had to play an arpeggio. This arpeggio was in B flat major. So you can see that I'm starting with my left hand. Then I play with my right hand, back to the left hand, again right, and then I finish with the left hand. So I got inspired by this place I was practicing in Ravel. I came up with an idea and that we can practice our arpeggios using this technique. If we take the tonic arpeggio in our left hand, and then the first inversion of the tonic chord in our right hand, and then we will climb just like this, tonic, first inversion, second inversion, tonic. The goal is that these 4 notes would feel as if you are playing it with one hand. Obviously, this is much easier. Then you will notice that immediately there is some unevenness between your hands. And especially if you need to play this fast and kind of imitate the harp, you will have to work quite hard to make this spotless. You can simply take your second finger and thumb, second finger, and play this arpeggio only with these 2 fingers. And then you are training this seamless change. As you can see, you can do exactly the same by using a dominant chord. So your dominant chord in E flat major will look like this. And if we try the same technique, and of course, you always want to practice without pedal. If you would add a pedal, you would see that many imperfections are kind of wiped away. So this is one of the creative ways of how you can practice your arpeggios, but also already exercise some of the tricks which you will be able to adapt in your pieces. Today, we practiced E flat major. We already covered so many difficult keys with more sharps and more flats. It already feels a little bit lighter, especially on music theory. I'm super excited that you keep coming back to these videos and this challenge. If you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing to our channel and also leave us a comment. Let us know which exercises you've tried, what worked for you, what didn't work. If you're curious to find out a little bit more of what we do, you can always join our Patreon, where we connect to you directly. So thank you so much for playing E flat major, and I hope to see you tomorrow.